Hey there, Virgo. Fret not about this major eclipse that we are having at the start of the month. There is actually quite a bit that is helping us move through this intense time of transition and is actually shaping up to be a pretty good month for us Virgos. So the reason I'm saying that this is a good month for Virgos is because the nodes are actually shifting out of the mutable signs Gemini and Sagittarius, which rule over our fourth house, our house of home, family, security, upbringing, ancestry, all that sort of stuff, and our career or purpose or role in the world. So whenever you have major aspects or transits happening in those angular houses, which are the rising, descendant, midheaven, and nadir or IC, these really bring up a lot of changes and a lot of intensity. These are kind of the main stages of our life, if you will. And so for the past year and a half, Virgo has really been trying to figure out, where do I belong? What is my role in the world? And there might even be some things that are happening in partnerships as well, where there's a lot of disillusionment that's been going on because we've had Neptune in our seventh house in Pisces. And that's really been bringing up probably some relationships that I would expect some of you felt like were going to go somewhere, and then they ended up being quite disappointing. I'm kind of picking up on that, especially with the first few cards that we have for you. We do have the Five of Wands. This is the first card showing up in the past. It feels like your energy has been very sporadic. It's been very spread thin or spread out. I know that oftentimes the Five of Wands represents conflict, which certainly could be something that is kind of a theme for you this month, or something that happened to you in the past several months. There might have been some major conflicts. But honestly, the way I'm reading this energy, Virgo, it's almost like you've just scattered. And when I think of Virgo as the mutable earth sign, I often tell people that it's like sand. It flows, it moves, it's easily unsettled. And so for you, I almost feel like you've gone into so many different directions at once over the past several months that you've been really, really distracted. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of you have actually been going through different moves, moving homes, with all of the eclipses that we've been having in Sagittarius, especially over the last 6 months. But this one is finally helping you settle in a very deep way. Because it is a final new moon eclipse, which is a new beginning, and it kind of feels like it's wrapping up the eclipse cycle that we've been in before the eclipses shift over into Taurus and Scorpio. Now, I do want to just talk about the five of coins here with the Two of Cups. Yeah, there has been a lot of disappointments. And I actually am kind of feeling like this is talking about love for a few of you. I could also potentially see this as like a business partner as well, especially since we do have Venus in the sign of Capricorn this month. For most people, this really does talk about business partnerships. It talks about finances. It talks about security and stability in that respect. And it certainly could be affecting you in that way as well. All of this really is going to depend a lot on your own unique, specific natal chart and the time you were born. But I really do see, for the Virgo collective tuning in, there is kind of this feeling of being left alone, being what's the expression? Kind of thrown out to the wolves, being left out in the cold. There's been some disappointments in relationships and people you thought you could trust in, or people that you tried to trust in or counted on. And maybe that's why the Five of Wands here. It's like, well, everyone else was squandering or wasting time or not doing the things that they were supposed to be doing. Virgo, I feel like you had to pick up the slack. Or maybe things have just been really scattered because it's like you feel so overwhelmed. You don't know what to do. Your energy just felt very scattered to me in the past, coming into this month. In the present, we do have the Seven of Pentacles. And you really might be trying to figure out how to delegate responsibilities or prioritize things this month. That could really be a theme for you. I could also be seeing something happening with family, especially if you work with family or there's some sort of financial situation with a family member. I could actually see that coming up as well. And you might just feel unsupported by your family. And some of you really could just be trying to get a sense of, should you stay in contact with them or should you be separating from them? And I know we are in holiday season, so maybe there's something with the holidays that's kind of catalyzing that reflection. But I feel like there's something with you really trying to figure out, who is my partner here? Who really has my back? Because I feel like you've put in a lot of effort in the past that just wasn't reciprocated. And I don't think that this is referring to just one relationship. I do feel like you're also working very hard as well. You're working very hard on something. And I almost feel like you might be using work as a bit of a distraction. So keep that on your radar. You might be doing that this month, especially with Neptune going direct. Kind of funny. I always talk about Neptune direct almost being a time when we relapse. We go back on old behaviors or habits or addictions. We kind of let go of all the good behaviors we built or all the things that were really clear to us. And for some of you, I could actually see you distracting yourself in work. But I think if that is you, you're kind of more aware of it now. You have more of a handle on it. I will say, interesting. You're building something, Virgo. You're building something back up. And I know that this is the 7 of coins and not the 8 of coins or 8 of pentacles. But you're working really hard on something. And I think you're setting a course. You're charting a course for yourself in December. With the 2 of Wands here. And it's like, whatever disappointments have happened in the past, however you felt unsupported, I almost feel like you're picking yourself up, Virgo. I'm going to be honest. And you're kind of moving forward and you're moving into this beautiful Empress energy. And this is such a great card because it really talks about everything that we have mentioned in this reading. Finances, stability, as well as relationships, love. I feel like some of you are really opening your heart up again, and that might be happening more in 2022, which actually makes a lot of sense because we have Jupiter entering your 7th house. So you really are entering into a year that's going to be a beautiful time for you to manifest partnerships or to meet someone, or however that makes sense, however you interpret that for yourself. It's definitely a year of relationships for you in 2022. And I do feel like you are really creating a foundation for yourself first. And there is someone who is joining you kind of on that level. And the Empress does represent Venus. This is really, really interesting because there's a lot this month that feels like things are going to be unstable, but there's almost this sense of perseverance. There's this sense of hope, and I think that has something to do with Neptune going direct. I also think that has something with Jupiter entering Pisces at the end of the month. That there really is this like hope that helps us go through hard situations this time of year, or that can help us. It is available to us if we tap into it. And things might not feel super clear actually. With the 2 of Wands here. This is actually showing up as a challenge or change in your spread. And you might not necessarily have the clearest sense of where everything is going right now, but your intuition is guiding you. It's like, you know, if you just work hard, you can make something happen. And there might even be someone who is helping you in the future. But honestly, it feels like for a lot of you, you're stepping up, or you're picking yourself up. Oh, beautiful. Oh my God. Wow. You have the Lion and Eagle here. Very, very powerful energies. Yeah, I feel like this is a very powerful time for you, specifically. I do feel like there is a relationship coming for a lot of you. That's not really the focus of this month. I actually want to warn a lot of you. With this Venus retrograde in Capricorn, again, I was saying for most people it's about finances and business partners and our sense of stability in material ways. But for Virgo, this represents the 5th house. And the 5th house does rule over dating, casual relationships. So don't be surprised, Virgo, if you're thinking about old relationships, or I almost want to say situationships, things that didn't actually become relationships. There could be a lot of focus there. I feel like for those of you who were kind of resonating at the beginning, you know what I'm talking about here. There could just be a lot of focus. There could even be someone coming back from the past. You're actually probably the most likely sign for that to happen to, or one of the most likely signs for that to happen to this month. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you are supposed to take that person back. To be honest, I get this sort of like boss energy with the Empress. You're very much stepping into your power, and you know who is worth your time and energy. And I think that's part of this very serious reevaluation that you're doing this month. But yeah, the eagle and lion here, very self-possessed energy, very fiery, very passionate here. I do feel like some of you could be moving as well. That could be happening with the new moon eclipse that starts on December 4th, but we're going to be in the wake of that for 6 months. Some of you might actually be starting to move or be in the process of moving, and potentially quite far, actually. You could be moving to another country or a different part of the country, or just a very different setting than where you currently are. And maybe this isn't even something that you're actively pursuing right now. It's kind of on your radar. If you are trying to move to a new location, or that's something that feels good for you, now is kind of a good time to attune yourself to that energy. Whenever we're working with eclipses, it's not necessarily the best time to manifest because they're so powerful, and there's a lot of shadow that goes into it as well because there's obscuration that's happening. The sun is being eclipsed by the moon is in the shadow of the earth. So there's a lot of energy here that might not be the best to work with, but it's almost like we just attune to it. Eclipses are so powerful anyway, we don't really have to do anything for them. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 6 months, a lot of you are actually moving. And I say that because the Eagle card, at least in my own life, has come in times where I'm about to travel or go someplace very different. I would literally pull this card so many times that I would even use it when I was picking flights for myself while traveling, and I would know what flights to pick because I would pull Eagle. It came up like 4 times in a row for me when I was kind of traveling and trying to figure out where to live, actually several years ago. So I feel like there is this sign for you to move or to really throw yourself into new horizons. That feels really exciting to me. And that actually makes a lot of sense because we have all this energy in Taurus, which is literally travel. It is broadening your horizons, and your nodes are actually traveling there. That is, the North Node is going to be entering into your 9th house. So that really is going to be a time for you to learn new things, to acquaint yourself to new places, and potentially even travel or move to new or distant lands. You're finally building a foundation wherever it is that you want to build it, and it's looking the way that you want it. You're building your own empire here as this Empress, and you're nurturing that into existence. And with the Lion card here, I really just think of you, honestly, especially if you're one of those Virgos who are kind of on the cusp between Virgo and Leo. When I think of Lion, it's a very self-possessed energy. It's a very masterful energy as well. And there's so much power with you that not everyone sees the struggles that you're going through. I feel like you've been struggling in silence or struggling alone, but honestly, Virgo, things are about to shift. And I don't think this is necessarily even happening in December. There might be signs of things changing. You might feel things shifting around, or there could even be some unexpected or unpleasant things that are happening, but they're ultimately bringing you to a better foundation. And that feels really beautiful for me. And honestly, Virgo, I feel like it's time to commit to the unknown. It's time to commit to something really bold and really powerful for you. Because I think the universe is really trying to support you in that way. And you are working really hard right now. I'm going to tell you, I feel like even though some of you might be using work to escape, there really could be something where you need to save up your money because there could be new opportunities that are coming in, especially for travel, and that might be a message for some of you. There could even potentially be travel delays, actually. I could kind of see that too. Just because we have Uranus in Taurus, we have the nodes entering Taurus, the North Node, which can kind of make us reach and yearn for an energy, that doesn't necessarily mean that we attain it. So there really is this yearning right now, but I actually feel like there's a lot of backing for you to travel, to go into new horizons, and to kind of build your dream home, actually. I think that's just going to be very thematic for you for the next 6 months. And I do feel like this next year is going to bring some beautiful things in relationships and partnerships for you as well. But honestly, I wouldn't focus on that in December. I feel like this is really focusing on where you want to be. It would kind of be complicated anyway if you did end up going someplace else and you met someone and then you were kind of two ships in passing. So if there has been a struggle in your love life, or you're just not meeting people, it could be a sign that you're actually not in the place you're supposed to be in. If you feel totally alone or isolated, and that could be any kind of relationship. I'm just getting that thread. Those are all the messages I have for you, Virgo. I'm wishing you a very happy December.